produce electricity on houses. This is photovoltaic solar electric technology, PV panels. I will get into some details on that later. We have wind energy. We have wave or hydro energy. We have bioenergy and geothermal. And the technology does not have to be invented. It exists. We might make it better. We might make it cheaper. We might make it more affordable or easier to install. But we know how it works. We know the worst case. We don't know how good we can get. But we know how bad we are today and that this is good enough. So if you combine all that, they can produce electricity and put that into the system. They will produce heat in some situations because that's a byproduct in some cases. And then we have the bioenergy that you still can burn. It's not that much, but it has the benefit that you can store it very easily. And so if you burn something in the house, it makes no sense to burn stuff without producing electricity. How many steam engines do you find today in the houses? None. You cannot buy a steam engine today. That used to be a technology that was ruling the world. Try to buy a steam engine. So all this combined heat and power technology will come back big time. And just to give you some rough numbers, if you build a windmill with 1 megawatt peak, so that's today considered a small windmill, it can provide electricity for 2,000 people. And today's biggest windmills have a production capacity of roughly 6, and some are prepared maybe to go up to 10, but that's a cost issue in some aspects. But this is the state of the art. This is what you can do with today's technology without inventing anything for the future. If you look at solar photovoltaics, this is the best way to preserve nature. Get rid of agriculture and just collect the electricity and the energy that you need. One of these panels here has up to 10 kilowatt peak production capacity. Now one of them, in the worst case, has 10 square meters. You can, in this case, get down to 5. But if you say 1 kilowatt peak is 10 square meters, and that's enough electricity for one person. So if everybody of us would have 10 square meters somewhere on this world, we wouldn't need electricity anymore because we would have it. You can put it, on the green or on the houses, depending on what you own, what you have, and where you live. But the possibilities are almost, unbelievable. What you can do with that. Biogas. You can produce electricity for 20 people from 1 hectare of agricultural land. And you could even inject the biogas into the natural gas system. You can build micro natural gas systems, maybe for a small village. Maybe even to fill up some vehicles. You could use trash. I've been told that all the trash here is being transported for huge amounts of money somewhere far, far away. Instead of taking the organic parts, leaving them here, producing biogas, and using them here in Sofia. That's a business model. Dumping the trash somewhere for a lot of money is not a business model. It's well-known technology, and the German industry and the NGOs made their own calculations and made their own proposal to the government. This is our vision of the next 10 years. We are today, in terms of electricity, at roughly 15 to 70% of renewables. And we have a clear goal. We want to take away another 30% of the revenue from the traditional energy companies, not put it into their pockets, but put it into our pockets, and increase the share to 47% in 10 years. We think that's doable, because when you look at the production growth of installation, this is more or less a linear curve. And money will not dry up. If you don't get any decent rate on a bank account, you will not put your money in the bank. You will put it into something that gives you more return on investment. And there is no better investment than into renewables, because the law gives you investment security. And this is very important, and Bulgaria has a good law with some minor aspects that we would say need to be changed, like access to the grid. There are some parts, but it's not the worst law in the world. There are countries that are a lot worse off than you are. So get politically active and fix the parts that are not perfect. But this is the growth rate. And we have a number of communities that at least set themselves a target of getting 100% renewable in the near future. If that's 2020 or 2030, doesn't matter. They have a goal, they have a vision. This is what they want to do. And the number of these regions and people will increase over the next years as people become aware that this is not science fiction or, some Greens just dreaming while they're stoned. This is industrial development at its highest perfection, at an almost unstoppable speed, that is creating jobs. We have now in some regions like Magdeburg, somewhere here in this area, that have been almost broke because all the steel industry went away. And now the wind energy company Enercon is more or less securing 15,000 jobs in that area just by producing windmills. And this has a big future. So from our point of view, renewable energy is very simple and obvious, and we know how to do it. It, however, raises the question, what about mobility? I didn't touch that. And when you look at all these communities that want to become energy independent in Germany, all these goals and plans have one major flaw. Not a single community has solved the mobility problem. Nobody knows how to solve it, at least so far. And this is why we set out and said, well, if you want to get rid of the energy losses, there is only one conclusion. Get rid of the combustion engine. This is your problem. If you stick to the combustion engine, you cannot solve this problem. Period. End of discussion. If you put in batteries and you connect it to the electric grid and you turn to electric mobility, when you do the numbers, you suddenly realize, okay, this can work. This is not so complicated. There are some challenges, but we can do it. It dramatically reduces the demand for biofuels. So the amount of bioenergy that you need to put into transport can be